In 2003, former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson filed for bankruptcy, carrying $30 million in debt. During his entire professional boxing career, Tyson accumulated over $300 million. That is a staggering amount of money to generate, only to watch it completely vanish. This chart compares high-income earners against actual net savings, revealing a bizarre reality. Of Americans making over $100,000 a year, 1 in 10 live paycheck to paycheck. The moment income rises, savings drop to near zero. You will often hear financial gurus blame this on working a standard 9-to-5 job. They use that guilt to sell you internet courses. But clocking in for a regular shift is not what destroys your bank account. The actual rat race is living perpetually on a financial edge. It is the terrifying cycle where money hits your account and immediately disappears to fund lifestyles, leaving you one unexpected medical bill away from total collapse. Earning a high salary does not equal wealth. Without understanding the underlying mechanics of how money behaves, you can make hundreds of millions of dollars and still end up entirely broke. Money is commonly defined as a medium of exchange, but a more accurate way to view it is simply as an expression of value. You hand over a certain amount of cash because you perceive the item you are buying to be worth that exact amount of value. Because of this, your entire financial standing comes down to a basic mathematical equation. Wealth equals your production, the value you generate, minus your consumption. For most people trapped on that financial edge, the fatal flaw lies squarely on the subtraction side. We drain our value rapidly, driven primarily by hidden psychological blinders. In behavioral finance, one of the most common blinders is the ostrich effect. This is our natural tendency to avoid negative financial information entirely. It is the exact feeling that stops you from checking your bank balance after a weekend out, fearing what the screen might show. Then there is hyperbolic discounting. The human brain is hardwired to favor immediate, short-term rewards, like the rush of buying a new pair of shoes today, over the abstract delayed gratification of saving that money for a future investment. We also fall victim to social proof. We measure our self-worth by what our neighbors or people on social media are buying, actively trading away our wealth just to project the illusion that we have money. To stop the drain, you have to force yourself into awareness. That means systematically journaling your expenses, committing to a strict budget, and locking away 3 to 6 months of living expenses in an emergency fund. Pouring water into a bucket is useless if there is a massive hole at the bottom. Earning a higher salary will never translate into wealth until you repair your relationship with consuming. Once that hole is patched, we can look at the other half of the equation, production. If you listen to mainstream personal finance advice, the conversation rarely reaches this point. Massive financial personalities have built entire movements around the idea of cutting coupons, aggressive penny pinching, and strictly minimizing your expenses to achieve financial peace. But frugality has a strict mathematical limit. You can only cut your expenses down to zero. Because cost-cutting has a hard floor, it cannot mathematically generate massive wealth on its own. The irony is, these exact financial personalities did not build their $55 million net worths by skipping their morning coffee. They did it by mastering the production side of the equation. This diagram represents linear production. You trade 1 unit of time for 1 unit of money. But if you build and distribute a solution to millions, the equation fractures. Your effort multiplies outward, creating an infinite ceiling on value output. This is mass scale. Whether it is developing a software app, building a fitness brand, or creating digital media, you put in the effort once, and it pays dividends repeatedly, without requiring extra hours of your day. Aggressively cutting your consumption is exactly what keeps you from financial ruin, but multiplying your ability to produce value at scale is the only mathematical way to truly break free. So why do so many people refuse to scale their value? Often it comes down to the deeply ingrained societal belief that money is the root of all evil. We assume anyone with vast wealth must have taken advantage of someone else to get it. But when you realize money is simply a measure of value provided to society, it loses that negative stigma. It is completely neutral. Money simply broadens your options, acting as an amplifier for the moral choices of the person holding it. True financial mastery requires embracing both sides of the wealth equation. You must maintain absolute, disciplined control over your consumption, paired with a highly scalable mechanism for your production. Achieving this requires a psychological shift. You have to move your core identity away from being a passive consumer of things and become an active producer of value. Take a hard look at your own financial equation. Survive the day-to-day by plugging the leaks in your spending. But if you truly want to escape the rat race, you have to find a way to scale your value to the world.